Hey there, audio friends. Welcome back to the channel. Got a good IEM review for you today. Another one from Simgot. So today we're going to be looking at the EA500LM. This is the updated version of their pretty popular EA500 IEM. So let's dig into this thing. Let's see what you get, and we'll of course talk about sound. So like I said, this is an updated version of their EA500. What's different about this one? Well, I think the biggest thing is it has replaceable nozzles. So you can see that I can pop that off here. And what's cool about this is it allows you to do a little bit of tuning. It does come with 3 different nozzles for tuning on here. So if we're getting into what does it come with, a couple of different nozzles and a couple of different replacement O-rings that go on those. It comes with, a pretty generic little IEM case down here, and then a braided cable that's, okay quality. I didn't honestly use it, but it feels fine. It doesn't, it's definitely a step up above like the cheapest cables that you get with, cheap IEMs. So I think all that stuff sounds good. Of course, you get a variety of tips. Nothing too extravagant, just a regular pack of like small, medium, large. It is a solid metal build all the way around, which I really appreciate. It's got kind of it's a dark chrome, I would say, finish to it, which I think looks quite good. It is, of course, a fingerprint magnet though. And then it is kind of the standard 2-pin as far as connection. So you can switch cables and things like that. And personally, I have like a variety of these Zoni cables that I like to use. So I had a 4.4, so that's what I used mainly when I was listening to this. And I'll link to those down below if you want to check those out. So before I get any further, I will say that Simgot did send this to me for free. They're not influencing this video in any way, however, so you're just getting my honest opinion on this guy, which is going to be a positive one here. And then just as a note, I did most of my listening with the Moondrop Dawn Pro. I also did some listening with the BTR7 when I was doing Bluetooth. So, really, when looking at like the package here, I think it's pretty good for about a $90 IEM, right? You get some tuning, you get some tips, you get a decent cable, you get a little carry pouch. It's all very adequate for the price, if not above adequate. The fit, I really like the feel of these Simgot IEMs. I think every Simgot IEM I've tried has been a very, very similar form factor. This, if not exactly the same, but that's just fine for me. I find all of them very comfortable. Okay, so let's dig into sound here. And again, this is going to be pretty positive. So if I'm just looking at my notes here to make sure I'm not missing anything. Said it's really quite good. A little bit bassier than neutral. Now I'm talking about with the bronze tips right now, which is what came with it. So these are kind of like a more bronzy colored tip with a red O-ring on them. Like I said, it's a little bit bassier than neutral, but I said that I really do appreciate the warmth of this IEM. I thought it sounded quite pleasant to listen to. Detail is good, timbre is good. I thought it was, it's pretty neutral sounding throughout the rest of the range outside of the bass being just a bump just a little bit. I thought that it was very well separated. I did say that I didn't think that the resolution on the upper end of things with these bronze tips were, especially outstanding, but it's certainly adequate for the price range. And then I just said, with these bronze tips, it's fun, but it's also quite easy to listen to, which when I think about the original EA500, although I haven't heard it in quite a while, I thought that was like a real like bombastic, IEM. I thought that it was, I think I equated it to kind of like the IEM version of the X2 HR, which was a very, V-shaped, sparkly, bassy headphone. That was kind of how I felt about the original EA500. I feel like this one is much more neutral and linear. So then I switched to these guys right here, which are the nozzles with the black tips. And I would say that these are like the thinnest sounding tip that these came with, or nozzle that these came with, I said that it's much more subdued in the bass, but there was noticeably better clarity and resolution on the top end. However, I thought that it maybe was like a little too much. While I was listening to the playlist that I was on, I had some 80s rock come on, and most of that 80s rock is mixed a little bit brighter and not with a lot of bass, and I didn't really think that music meshed well with these IEMs with those silver with the black O-ring nozzles on them. I did say that the vocals also felt a little recessed on that, and a couple of examples of songs would be Born to Run by The Boss, and then Werewolves of London with Warren Zevon. So after that, I switched to the nozzles with the red O-rings, the silver nozzles with the red O-rings here, and I think that those are, to my ear, they sounded like the middle ground between those other two nozzles. So I said, it had more bass than the silver with the black O-rings, but less than the bronze. I said, and it really retained a lot of that upper end clarity, but I still didn't enjoy it as much as the bronze tips, or the bronze nozzles. I still think those, for me, with the warmth and the bass and just a little more easy listening, were more, at least what I was into when I was doing the majority of my listening with these IEMs. Again, that could come down to music selection though, and personal preference. So I do really appreciate that they come with these different nozzles, because I think the odds of you getting one that suits your preferences and suits your music taste are probably pretty high. So in the end, the bronze tips are most for me, but I do wish that I could have some of the upper end clarity of those other two nozzles, but ultimately that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make to, just have that more warm, easy listening experience. And that pretty much wraps up what I have to say about the EA500LM here. I think this is the third or fourth Simgot IEM that I've tried, and I have found all of them to be pretty excellent for their price points, and all have great build quality. So I'm a pretty big fan of Simgot at this point in time. I think if you're looking for a headphone in the $90-ish range and you like the idea of having some tuning options with it, then I think this is definitely one that you should give a look to. So thanks for watching. Go ahead, if you have any other comments, opinions, experiences with this IEM, drop those down below. Thanks to Simgot for sending these out. And as always, I hope I see you in the next one.